This is the Relevant Podcast.
It's episode 953, and it's the Relevant Podcast. Here in Orlando, I'm your host, Cameron Strang, and joining me, still here in Orlando, it's Jesse Carey.
Hello, hello.
From Austin, Texas, author, speaker, podcaster, Jamie Ivey.
Hey, guys.
And from Nashville, Tennessee, artist, producer, and mogul, Derek Miner.
What's happening?
Hey, man. Jesse, it's been fun having you down. It's fun having Tyler down. I'm excited about the game
It's been
tonight.
a blast.
We had fun at the other game. Magic are doing good right now. I like it.
You were able to elicit a reaction out of James Harden, which I've been texting that video to friends.
That's easy.
Are you serious?
I want to see this.
That's easy. Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna
There's
drop it in
certain
the
players
thread
in the
as we
NBA
talk.
that you joke
I
with
was
them or
impressed
tease
by
them.
this,
They'll
though. I was
give it right back.
Yeah, but he did it
Really?
playfully. We were talking about this during the game. He's just an old pro. He's used to it. He laughs it off. You know, he doesn't take the bait.
Yeah, no big deal.
It was almost like a playful banner, but it was a lot of fun. And we went go-karting, which I haven't
We
done
did.
for...
We went indoor adult race, indoor electric go-karts, Mario Andretti facility here in town. We just was like, we went on a Monday and we pulled in and the parking lot was packed. And I was like, who doesn't have a job that they're here doing indoor go-karts on a Monday afternoon? And I realized it was spring break. So, you know.
Spring break.
It was an hour wait for 8 laps. 1 hour for 8 laps. And it was worth it.
Man.
These carts were amazing. And I mean,
They were crazy.
me and Cameron were taking it serious. I was thinking about going on there and just goofing and trying to get in trouble. But it's like, I've waited an hour for this. And I got 8 hard laps. I was chatting them up beforehand.
Like, you want to
trying
win? Like, you're in there like, I'm going to win this race.
Oh, they're timing your laps. They have a leaderboard.
Oh.
You're like, it's racing. I mean, it's.
I went and
Okay.
found
You
one
have
of their
helmets.
employees.
I mean, it's like gear. I mean, it's like a real thing. I mean, you could really hurt yourself. It was fun.
I tried to find the senior most employee at this go-kart track who appeared to be about 17.
No, what he said was to one of the workers, he said, okay, do y'all get to race? Is that part of the perks? And he goes, yeah, we do. And he goes, which one of you is the best racer? And then the one guy goes, that's me. Jesse sidled up to him and asked for tips on the track.
Mm-hmm.
He
And
really
gave
did.
me
He got
some.
in there. He was like, he did. He gave great tips.
And oh yeah, it was a game changer. So really good time.
I'm the person at a go-kart thing like that that's riding the brakes. Like, my kids are like, Mom, you're so lame. I'm like, I'm nervous. I'm scared. They're like, you shouldn't even ever touch your brake. Like, you should just be all in. I'm like, I can't. They make me so nervous.
I caused a crash. There was these two
See,
people that
that's
were
why it
annoying
makes
me.
me
They were in
nervous.
front of me, and I swung around, did a booster because you get like a nitrous booster once a lap, and I swung around them on the outside, nitrous boost them, cut them off on the turn, and they both.
You're talking about
and
an
like
actual nitrous booster, but it's
it's an electric
NOS?
cart, so it's like it's an electric boost, but you get it once a track and once a lap. I mean,
okay.
and so it's not nitrous. There's no gas, but yeah. No, it was fun because I cut them off, and then like there's a little collision, and I got yelled at by the workers, but I don't care. Hey, we're racing. You know,
I had
they're like,
this
they held up a
15-year-old
sign to me that said, let them pass. And I was like, this is a race. If they want to pass me, they can pass me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You got to earn it, though. I'm not going to let you pass. Come on.
Exactly.
I'm not a competitive person, but I got competitive in that race.
You don't think I'm
That's
going
a
fast
lie.
enough?
That's
You
a
go
lie,
faster.
Cameron. You are very competitive, bro.
Yeah, and then we went and shot pool late last night with Chandler and his girlfriend and stuff. And Jesse, I would like you to publicly apologize to me for single-handedly making us lose to my brother, because the entire night you only made like 5 balls in the entire night.
Well,
I was having to carry us.
Let me preface: we're playing at a freaking billiards museum with on 100-year-old tables. I mean, you don't
Jesse
know where
kept
you hit the
yelling
ball.
like,
You don't
"There's a
know
dip
where.
in the
You
table."
did.
There's not a dip in the table. Yeah, have you ever seen the movie
Derek, Jamie.
Roadhouse?
Yeah, it looks like we wandered
where
in
we
a
were.
saloon. Yeah, where like literally I was like, Chandler, this place is kind of cool, but it's, looks like it could. He's like, yeah, I mean, one time a guy got shot over there. He lived though. It was not a big thing. Like, he was
It's not
fine.
that big of a deal. Yeah, he lived.
Yeah, and I was
Don't
like, okay.
take me there. Thank you.
No, it was Derek.
Thank
So
you.
we walk in and they're playing like all this like emo and rock and whatever, and it was really annoying. And then like my brother told me, he's like, there's a jukebox, you can like, this is the vibe here. It's kind of like, and I was like, I'm just not feeling this. And then he told me there's a jukebox and an app that you can control the music. You pay money. I loaded up all this old school hip hop and yacht rock just to screw with the place. It was amazing. I was playing
Don't
like all
take me
90s
there.
hip hop and Michael McDonald and stuff. It was great.
It went from like this cool, kind of sketchy, hipstery meets biker bar to
I played
everyone's cleared
UB40,
out.
Red Wine. I played
Red
Teddy
Red Wine.
Pendergrass. it was great. It was
With Red
awesome.
Red Wine queued up for the third consecutive time, we cleared that place out. And, we really wanted to turn on Papa Shot, and it was packed, and that cleared it out. Me and Cameron got that for the rest of the night, thanks to UB40
It was like a rough,
for 15
rough
straight
spot.
minutes.
It was really funny. Anyway, all right. Well, we have a great show in store for you today. Coming up later, one of our favorite rappers, No Big Deal, joins us. He's highlighted in the new issue of Relevant as well. But you'll hear that conversation coming up. He's great. If you don't know his music, you're about to. It's awesome. And Derek, you have history with him. Obviously you know everybody, but like you used to work with him, right?
Yeah, he was my, so I met him in college and I needed somebody to be my road manager to kind of take care of stuff on the road. He went to school for music business and he was my road manager.
That's crazy.
And I would let him use the studio when I wasn't in it. So he would go to the studio, do his records. And then one day I went in there, they were shooting a music video. I was like, what is this for? He's like, oh yeah, I got some stuff. So he pressed play and I was like, hey, this is not trash. This is actually really good. You know what I mean? And as we started doing our thing, he became a worse road manager and a better rapper. So I fired him.
That's a good transition for him.
I love that the minty, mentory first exposure was, this is not trash. Was the feedback?
Well, when,
Derek
I know
Minor
my early
is
stuff
a
was
tough
awful.
audience.
I know.
I know.
Yeah,
for sure.
I don't say that. But that honestly, you're not going to compromise just because he's your friend.
No, never. Nah, we always, when it comes to the music, there's no feelings. It's just, is it good or not? Yeah. I mean, his stuff was always good.
I mean, he is legit one of my favorite rappers and deserves to be very big. I think he's got a career in front of him for sure. Yeah, I'm excited for you guys to hear his music coming up. We also have your feedback at the end of the show, but stay tuned right now. It's Slices. You're listening to Royal Otis. The song is Oysters in My Pocket. Who doesn't have them? Today's podcast is brought to you in part by Mercy Ships. Globally, 5 billion people lack access to surgical care. In sub-Saharan Africa, there's only one surgeon for every 200,000 people. Mercy Ships provides free, life-transforming surgeries for people who have little to no access to medical care. They help the blind see, straighten twisted limbs, remove deadly tumors, treat cleft conditions, and so much more. With state-of-the-art hospital ships, they provide safe surgery to children and adults living with treatable conditions, and it's completely free of charge. They do all this work with an all-volunteer crew of professionals who donate their time and talents. Surgeons, stewards, nurses, engineers, and more make the world a better place. Your donation today provides free, safe surgeries to people in desperate need of help. All gifts are matched, so please donate today at mercyships.org/relevant. Today's podcast is brought to you in part by Tim Tebow's book, Look Again. Have you ever wondered what would change if you truly believed you were infinitely valuable to God? In his New York Times bestselling book, Look Again, Tim Tebow reveals the powerful truth that when we learn to see the image of God in every person, including those we struggle to love, everything changes. Tebow shares incredible stories from his work with people the world often overlooks, and it will challenge you to stand up to the lies, rediscover the worth that everyone has, and impact the world for good. Find Look Again by Tim Tebow, available now wherever books are sold. Okay, it's time for
Slices.
Hey, in honor of our pool table excursion last night, will you play the Sexy Slices intro? Because I ended the night on Teddy Pendergrass when we left that place. So, play the other one. It's time for Slices. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's time for Slices now.
Yeah,
A
baby.
guy got shot over there, just right in that corner.
It was totally this roadhouse, rough and tumble, seedy spot, and I'm playing all this like yacht rock and stuff.
So we
It was
just,
great.
so we just
They're all
gonna
looking
keep
around
switching
like,
out
where's
the
this coming
slices?
from? Do what?
I'm saying, so we just gonna keep switching out the slices jingle.
Depends
just
on the mood.
just whatever we want to
just
do.
gotta follow the vibe, man.
I bet.
All right, what you got, Jesse?
All right. I don't know if you guys saw this, but Mark Zuckerberg, I don't feel like he needs an introduction, but he's the inventor of Facebook and now the head of Meta, the giant tech company, was recently interviewed on a podcast hosted by a guy named Lex Friedman. And he had Lex had some really interesting questions for him that went beyond just sort of the future of technology, but really tried to dig into the psychology of Mark Zuckerberg, who is let's just be honest, an objectively strange figure in pop culture. I mean, this is someone who was one of the world's richest people as, 19 or early 20s at least, and has wielded a tremendous amount of power and influence. And look, I mean, the Social Network, one of the most important movies of, kind of the early aughts, showcased his kind of strange personality and the strange way he deals with people. But that's why I thought this interview was so interesting, especially when he started being asked about his thoughts about mortality and purpose. And, Mark Zuckerberg has been on record that, he wants the metaverse to sort of be this alternate reality. And he's also said things that, that he's committing 99% of his Meta stock, which I think I believe his biggest shareholder, that holds about 12%, which equates to billions and billions of dollars, that he is going to donate 99% to charitable causes, including trying to end all diseases by the end of this century by offering a cure. But he did say that he doesn't believe, in a quest for immortality. Like, he does want people to not suffer from preventable diseases, but he's not trying to reverse aging. And he thinks about death just like everyone else does. But he doesn't necessarily think it's an advantageous goal to eliminate the idea of death, which I think a lot of times when you think about the metaverse and the implications of maybe one day having sort of being able to be able to upload degrees of your consciousness or something like that. There's a lot of conversations about what an afterlife would look like in a virtual environment, but he didn't seem all that interested in the idea of, living past whatever kind of the natural human lifespan is. But then he was also asked about what he thinks his purpose in life is. And, he kind of talked about how his whole adult life has ultimately been committed to the idea of connecting people through social media. But so that was one of his life's goals, was to connect humans. But the other life goal, he said, and his other purpose was to create. And here's what I want to read part of the conversation. Mark Zuckerberg said, "Why does the Bible start there? It could have started anywhere in terms of how to live, but basically it starts with how God created people. I actually think there is like a compelling argument that I've always found meaningful and inspiring, that a lot of the point of sort of religion has been telling us that what we should do is create and build things." And so I thought that was a really interesting take for someone who doesn't talk a lot about his personal faith or philosophy. He seems to be, reasonably agnostic publicly when it comes to political, social, and religious issues, and just keep his platform a platform. But the idea that we have this ingrained desire to create and build things, I thought was really interesting and kind of, a somewhat profound insight for someone whose creative impulses, for better or worse, have changed the way humans communicate. Just the idea that the Bible does start with a creation story. And if we're created in the image of God, I think that's an interesting thing to recognize, is that there is this built-in impulse to build and create things.
We were talking about that yesterday with a mutual friend of ours, that kind of like, we were talking about like, it's just fine working odd jobs somewhat. Like, it like really has no direct career ambition, just makes enough. If he needs money, he'll do a little work. And if he doesn't feel like it, then he has freedom. Right. And like, and it's like, I get like maybe a season of that, but like, I would feel like my life is being wasted if I'm not like trying to create or build something or, you know, whatever. And Jesse, you were saying the same thing. And it's just interesting that like some people really are driven by that impulse. Like I have a purpose, a greater purpose I need to do. And then some people really just are fine just having good friends and just not, you know, and that's interesting, like the difference.
Yeah, and I know Jamie and Derek, obviously you guys are extremely creative people, not just, you know, professionally and personally. I mean, we're sitting here creating a podcast together. You know, what is, you know, I know Zuckerberg is sort of a controversial figure, but kind of hearing that perspective, especially as creatives, what are your guys' thoughts?
You know what? If I'm being like really, really honest, I'm probably gonna get a little heavy right now. But honestly, that's probably been the hardest thing in the past 2 years for me. Like as an artist, just trying to figure out like where my next steps are as a musician. Because, you know, considering like all the crazy stuff that's happened with like the church and evangelicals and all of that, and then being an artist that has rapped in those circles and really felt, you know, like when I was making music, I was like, yo, I'm changing the world with this. Like that's what my purpose is. My purpose is to change the world for Jesus. And I got this whole army of Christians with me and we're going to do something amazing. And that kind of shatters when you realize like for some people, it's like, yeah. But you're black though. You know what I'm saying? Like, so you got that. Then you got pandemics where like, you know, I'm like, I haven't toured since 2019. You know what I'm saying? So, or like me and Prop were supposed to go on tour in 2020. That was the last tour that was on. So it's like, is touring coming back with COVID, et cetera, et cetera. So like, I know with myself, it's been a wrestle for me to try to like muster the energy to create because we're in such perilous times with war, inflation, all those different things. I'm like, I don't know what the point of even creating is, you know? So, yeah.
That's deep.
Are you saying like you don't know what the point of creating is? Because when you created,
what was the point? What's the point?
The point was change the world for Jesus, and now you feel excluded from that community because of so much changing in the last few years. Plus, the whole dynamic of the entire industry has changed with, like you said, COVID and touring.
Yeah,
and you're like, now actually, what is the point? I can create, but for what greater purpose?
What's the purpose beyond the creation? Right? Like the music
and just entertainment or whatever.
Yeah, it has to be. For me, the music has never just been, let me entertain. Like it's always been, there's something that I'm changing. There's something I'm creating. There's a purpose behind it. So if you've been doing something for 10 years and then things change, there's a mourning that takes place. But then the next question is, well, then what do I want to do? You know what I mean? And you know, my wife, like sometimes, you know, my friends are like, yo, just make music because you're good at it and you like doing it. And it's like, my brain still hasn't processed how that works together. So, yeah.
I think creating too has been difficult over the last, you know, we've all been living through this pandemic and we all use our creative outlet to do things differently. And then here we are in this position going like, okay, what does it look like now? I think for me, even to like, if I'm thinking about my podcast that I've done, you know, for almost 8 years here, it started out as just like fun and like creative, like, oh, let's just have fun. And then now over the last 3 years, it's gotten much more like focused on like, how do I have hard conversations and hard topics? But that creative vibe for me has cost me things. And so that even where it gets into like, you know, what are you willing to lose in order to create what you feel called to create? And I think that's a question that I've had to deal with in the last couple of years.
Do you guys feel the impulse to create for the just like if no like does the obviously the audience matters, right? It not, you know, I know professionally obviously, but then it kind of gives validity to work. But do you guys have ever the impulse just to create and write or make music knowing no one may ever hear this or encounter this or you know, it's just for you, just for the sake of creating?
Oh, I've made music. I've had like if I do 12 songs, if y'all hear 12 songs, there's 50 that I scrap. 50 that are just sitting on my laptop.
Yeah, but you made the 50 with the intent of
getting
wide
the top
release.
12.
You just self-edited. It's not that you just made it knowing that, right? I mean, you're not just going to go record like a love song to your wife that like nobody will ever hear, right? Or no?
Nah, I catch vibes. But so my process is a little different. The albums are forged out of the art that's being made. Like once I start hearing a common theme, I'm like, oh, okay, this is where you're at. Keep going that direction. So, but at first there's always this like big lump of clay and I'm just like chiseling away, trying to figure out, okay, is there even a sculpture here? Then once I start seeing a nose, I start seeing hands and stuff, I'm like, oh, okay, there is a sculpture. Let's dive into that. So, but it always starts mostly with creation. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, but I guess my point would be that in the back of your mind, though, you are creating these songs to figure out if the sculpture is there. I mean, you are like working toward, It's not just, I want to make this and literally nobody will ever hear it. It's just a personal project. I think that's what maybe I'm not like that, Jesse. Yeah, like to me, like if I'm going to pour myself into something, I want it to make a difference. I don't want to, I know some people, who was it? A mentor of mine told me that like people who use their minds for their job need to relax by using their hands, and people who use their hands for their job need to recharge by using their mind, right? And so this leader spends his nights gardening because that's how he decompresses, and he's creating and cultivating, but it's not managing people. It's not reading. It's not, whatever. And like, for me, that's the same. Like I'm creating and leading and inspiring and envisioning and all that all day long, working with creatives, working with whatever, we're going somewhere at night. The last thing I want to do is create for myself. I'm like, I want to be with friends, or I want to like recharge, or I want to go do, something totally different part of my brain. Anyway.
It's kind of like this, Jesse, you were asking if you just create just to create. Aaron and I were on a writer's trip. So it was like maybe like 8 or 10, and everyone there, their job was to write things. And we're in Italy, and we're at this winery. It's a super small family-owned winery. And the old man who does all
there was a lot of relaxation devices.
A lot of relaxation devices. But he brought this big book out, and he said, there was a translator, and he's like, oh, you guys are all writers. I wrote this book. And he said, it's a book of poems. And we're like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. He read some for us, and we all said, we want to support this guy. We said, hey, how can we buy this? Like, we want to buy a copy. And he said, oh, I just wrote this one. It's just for me. And all of our minds were blown like, oh, you wrote an entire book just for you? Like, wait, you're not trying to sell this. You're not trying to use your creativity as your job. It was really mind blown. And I have remembered that forever, that was so special to him. He created just because he's a creator, and he wrote a book, and none of us will ever read it except for him and his family.
But think about, that confirms what I was told by my mentor. He's sitting there creating wine all day, and he needed to exercise a different part of his creative mind.
But even just that interesting impulse, whether it's someone who combines it with professional ambitions or not, that just hardwiring to create is ingrained in so many people. And even, someone like a Mark Zuckerberg recognizing there's a reason the most powerful religious text ever penned opens with the creation narrative, because at the heart of what drives a lot of people is they want to create and build and understand, what they're capable of. And, I just felt like it was very insightful, especially for someone who is a controversial figure, to kind of recognize that impulse. I don't know what he personally believes in terms of God, but it seems like the implication is this is a sort of divine impulse that whether you're using it to build a business or a book or a song or whatever, a book of poetry, that impulse comes from somewhere that's slightly beyond our grasp, Yeah.
That's good.
All right. What do you have, Derek?
So, there's a story, or there's a myth, if you will, of a 9-tailed fox demon that can transform into women.
Wait, what?
Is this a Pokemon?
I'm telling you, no.
How many points are we talking?
In Japan. Well, I'm assuming the hit points are pretty high, but there's a myth of a demon with it's a 9-tailed fox, and it can turn into a woman, and it can seduce men, et cetera, et cetera. I think we might all have, but and this demon is very destructive and monstrous, and it tried to, seduce the emperor, and the emperor locked it up in a rock, and it's been there ever since until this year, when that rock has cracked open.
Wait, what?
The killing stone is what they call it. It's called the killing stone, and that stone has been split in half. So if the demon was the demon not in there no more. So we gonna need all the grannies,
the intercessors,
and the Pentecostal church,
the prayer circles.
I'm gonna need y'all in the prayer circle because we got some big fish to fry over in Japan. Maybe that's the reason everything's going crazy right now. Right.
Now, I have a question about this because I saw this story floating around.
I don't have no answers. I'm gonna tell you that right now.
Was it just? Did they just wake up one day and like, rock split overnight? Like, or are they fairly certain it wasn't like an unnatural act? Like someone came.
Well, they said it's been cracking for years because of rainwater, of something like I guess erosion, like rainwater. So I'm like, I don't know. All I know is
not a great sign.
It's not. Yes.
2022, the Demon Rock split open.
The Demon Rock split open. That's the last thing we need is the Demon Rock to split open. So, but the Demon Rock
and this nine-tailed demon takes the form of women. So single men stay off the dating apps right now. Stay off
of all of them. You don't need it.
You never know. It might be a nine-tailed demon shape-shifting into one. That's crazy.
I blame the emperor for this because listen, when I grew up in the charismatic church, you know, there's a way to bind the forces of darkness. It's not to put them in a rock, okay? Like this is not a very good cage. It already had a crack in it. If rainwater can break a rock, how's it supposed to hold some powerful demon? Not a great call.
You cast those demons into the pigs. You cast them. Yeah, no, you get that thing out of here. You don't put it in a rock and hold on to it.
I feel like you give me long enough, you put me in a rock with a crack in it, I can probably push my way out. Okay, and I don't even have 9 tails, so I think I'm not going to blame the demon. Demons trying to get out. Demons do what they do, right? The emperor's bad. We have a cage or something. You got to put a cracked rock.
What emperor are you talking about?
The emperor that put the demon in the rock. That's what
I didn't know the emperor put the demon there.
He captured it. What's he going to do? Put him in a rock? Like you said, you're an emperor. You got a lot of resources. Shoot him off in a rocket. Make him somebody else, some other planet's problem. Don't put him in a rock. I feel like the rock was just temporary. Like, hey, we'll put him in the rock. We'll figure this out. And then it's like,
we'll figure it out later.
Hey, whatever happened with the demon in the rock? Well, I don't know. I'll go check. Guys, I think we got some rain or something. I'm going to blame that. But
I'm going to blame the rain.
Who was supposed to check up on that?
Split.
Who was supposed to check up on Plan B for that?
What do you have, Jamie?
All right. Speaking of creators, one of the greatest creators ever to live, Dolly Parton. Before I tell you what she did, you guys, did y'all know, let me just say this, that Dolly Parton is one of an elite group of individuals to receive at least one nomination from all 4 major annual American Entertainment Award organizations, Emmy, Grammy, Oscar, and Tony.
EGOT.
Isn't that crazy? She's amazing. She's amazing.
Wait, she's the first. A bunch of people have EGOT.
She's one of the.
What did you say? One of the few. Okay, got it.
There's an elite group of individuals who's received at least one nomination from all 4 award organizations.
Oh, she didn't win them all. Because like John Legend has won them all. He's an EGOT. And then I think Lin-Manuel Miranda maybe is this year getting an EGOT. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, there's a handful. You're right. Okay.
There's a handful. But right now, what Dolly is in the news for is that she has bowed out of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame nominations. So she has taken herself out of the running. In a statement that she released to her social media accounts, she said that she was extremely flattered and grateful, but she didn't feel she'd earned that right. Like this, she said, I really do not want votes to be split because of me, so I must respectfully bow out. So she's pulling herself out, and she said she's always wanted to put out a rock and roll album. And so this is kind of pushing her in there. But you don't actually have to have produced a rock and roll album to be nominated, which is a new thing since like 2007. But she took herself out. She didn't want to split the vote. And so she's bowing out. She will not take the induction into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Because like Pat Benatar and Dionne Warwick are also being nominated. And so she didn't want to take any votes from them because she felt they were more deserving than her. She's very humble. I also heard that she declined a Presidential Medal of Freedom because she, again, didn't want the spotlight. She has famously turned down many, many awards. The Tennessee State Capitol wanted to put a Dolly Parton statue in front as one of the, and she said no? Heroes. Wow. And she said no. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like
I also just realized that she is, this will be old news by the time this airs, but she's playing at South by this weekend.
Wow.
South by
really?
The music festival here in Austin.
Legend.
Oh, no.
She's awesome. And she's
Wish I
like
could go see her.
74 or 5 years old, like playing South by. That's crazy. Good for her.
Exactly. Right. Yeah.
And dude, if I did a little, not deep dive, but a dive into her. Dude, she's a fantastic songwriter. I mean,
Right.
it's especially
Absolutely.
some of her early stuff when she was just kind of an Appalachian kind of folk singer. I mean, it was storytelling combined with songwriting in a way that few American songwriters have been able to do, you know.
Well, wasn't it last week, Jesse, that you did like the top 100 love songs? Didn't you do that? Didn't we talk about that last week? And
The
I Will
sad
Always
song,
Love
yeah.
You by Whitney Houston was up there. But why does Whitney get credit and not Dolly? Didn't Dolly write that?
Yes, she did. And in fact,
must be
Dolly
her
has
version?
said she wants, I forget who it is, but some current artist like an Ariana Grande or The Weeknd or something to like cover Jolene because she wants it to get that epic treatment
Uh-huh.
that
Like Whitney
that
gave
Whitney
that.
gave I'll Always Love You, because she's like, I wrote these little country Appalachian songs very humbly, saying my little songs in the hands of better artists become timeless. And it's like,
Or her little song is taking her straight to the bank for the rest of her life forever.
I've not heard one person in life, race, creed, color, age, say one bad thing about like Dolly Parton.
No.
Like she is like literally an angel on earth.
Mhm.
It would seem from I've never met her, but Dolly.
well, I mean, just
I like Dolly
from the
you know what I'm
earliest
saying?
days before she had a lot of money, she was giving back to local education in Nashville or in Tennessee, and she, her hometown. I watched a clip of her on the Johnny Carson show in like maybe 81 this week, and they were naming the local parkway in her little hometown after her, and she was very kind of embarrassed about it. He brought it up, obviously, and she's like, well, we've been doing some things for the kids, and and they just want, it's just like she's been giving back since day one. Even we've talked about it on the show. She early investor in the vaccine and like different things to help humanity. I mean, this woman,
And she just co-authored a book with James Patterson. Like, he is a major
crazy.
New York Times bestseller.
She's on a very short list of just celebrity names that no one has a bad thing to say and everyone loves. It's like
That's
her,
exactly right, yeah.
LeVar Burton and Weird Al. You know what I mean? It's like
And
those are our three.
Kanye.
And Kanye.
Kanye West. Nobody ever says anything bad about Kanye.
But real talk, if you went up to anyone on the street and be like, hey, what's your take on Dolly Parton, LeVar Burton, and Weird Al? They're like, oh, well, please, obviously nothing but love for those people. They're just
Right.
they're just unassailably awesome,
my favorite thing right now is all these people that were all about Jesus is King when Kanye dropped Jesus is
Oh,
King.
yeah.
He's a Christian artist now. He's going to bring in the next Reformation. Culture's going to change for Jesus, da-da-da. And they're just watching his Instagram right now. Like,
Pete Davidson.
Listen, I had people legitimately hit me up and say, Derek Minor, you should make more music like Kanye. You're a sinner. You're this or that and that. And I'm like, how you feeling now? Yeah.
Yep.
How you
I
feeling
ain't
now?
murdering
And
anybody in my music videos.
I love Kanye, but I'm like, you know what I'm saying?
Not as much
Y'all
as
just
Kanye
gonna
loves Kanye.
Right.
All right, well,
Right.
that'll do it for Slices. Stay tuned. Up next, No Big Deal joins us. It's a big deal, though.
For heaven's sake, we're missing hope. They're saving face and throwing stones. So take your mistakes, just let them go. 'Cause don't we all wear those broken halos? Broken halos. Untangle all the wires.
You're listening to For King and Country. The song is Broken Halos. Today's podcast is brought to you in part by John Mark Comer's book, Garden City, a book that speaks to the tension we all feel between work, rest, and purpose. The New York Times bestselling author John Mark Comer takes us to the scriptures to identify what it really means to be human and flips the script on the idea that who you are matters, not what you do. He shows that God created us for meaningful work and meaningful rest. Both matter. This book helps you ask and answer the big questions. Does God care where I work? Is there a direction for my life? So you can discern God's heart for your calling, your rhythms, and the way His Spirit wants to shape every part of your life. If you're longing for purpose and a more grounded way to live, check out the new hardcover edition of Garden City wherever books are sold. Well, today's show is brought to you in part by the new book, God, the Science, the Evidence. We talk a lot about faith, but how often do we talk about science in the same breath? You might be surprised to discover just how deeply the two actually agree. For centuries, science has been used to dismiss the idea of God, but today an intellectual revolution is underway. Modern discoveries in physics, cosmology, and biology are consistently revealing the same truth: creation isn't an accident. That profound reversal is what engineers Michel-Yves Bolloré and Olivier Bonassi investigate in their international bestseller, God, the Science, the Evidence. This book is a rigorous, evidence-based critique of materialism, inviting you to explore over a dozen scientific, philosophical, and historical domains. It shows that what was once seemed impossible, that science could point to a creator, is now supported by a vast and convergent body of evidence. With over 400,000 copies sold in Europe, this book is sparking a global debate. It's thoughtful, fascinating, and a powerful reminder that reason itself affirms the existence of God. Learn more and find out where you can purchase your copy today by visiting godthesciencetheevidence.com.
Today's podcast is brought to you in part by Erwin McManus's book, The Barbarian Way. Some books don't just inspire you, they confront you. The Barbarian Way, now celebrating its 20th anniversary, is one of those books. If you felt the pull of God towards something deeper and wilder than the safe, predictable version of faith that we settle for, McManus reminds us that following Jesus was never meant to be tame. It's meant to awaken courage, passion, and purpose God placed inside us. He draws from the wild stories of Abel, Noah, Moses, Rahab, and others to remind us that following God wasn't meant to be tame. Safe faith isn't working. Step into the story God is writing for you. Choose passion, choose boldness, choose the Barbarian Way. Available now wherever books are sold.
Well, our guest today is Dylan Phillips, but you probably know him as No Big Deal. He's one of my favorite Christian rappers out right now. Hey, he's one of my favorite rappers out right now. Seriously, so good. He sat down with Tyler Huckabee to discuss his amazing journey with his own music and where he sees the Christian hip-hop scene heading. Here is our conversation with No Big Deal.
Yeah, 100 grand, 100K, 100 bands, what a day. Underneath the sun ain't nothing new, but it's a sunny day. Tryna spend this money like he coming, he ain't running late. Distro kid, cut the check, indie tribe, cut the cake. 100 grand, 100K, 100 bands, what a day. Look, chasing out the money make you run in place. Yeah, I just call my mother, said just send it straight.
You hear a lot of people talk about this idea of being like an indie musician or an indie artist, and that word doesn't have a lot of meaning. You are a true indie artist. You're like genuinely independent. Tell me a little bit about what that's been like for you. What are some of the opportunities maybe you've had being independent? And then what are some of the challenges that it's been for you that maybe other artists haven't faced?
Like you said, I'm truly independent. I don't have a distribution deal. I don't have a indie label, which, I mean, if you're on an indie label, that is like by industry definitions, you are indie. I'm not saying you're not, but maybe there should be like even another term for what I'm doing, because I'm like
indie.
Yeah. I don't know, pure indie or something like that. But yeah, so I would say the freedom is, or the advantages are, I mean, complete creative control. This, and also the speed at which I can create content, create music, and release it, you know, and then share it with the world is, I mean, there's really no comparison to the creative control and the speed and just kind of the control of the whole story and the whole narrative, the risks that you can take, the pivots that you can make as an independent artist. It's really just about you, your fans, your supporters, and the art.
Granny say that it's slap. I got the tribe and my boys on my back. I got the cross of the Lord on my back. You said he's slacking, I'm foreign to that. Wrote this at 4 a.m, in fact. Look, I don't got time to retweet, My city love me like Chief Keef, wait. My city love me like Kiki, Dodging coyotes like meep, None of these rappers could see.
For as long as art has been done, some of the best conditions for the best art are pressure, back against the wall. Necessity breeds creativity, right? So like, that's why a lot of artists procrastinate to the last minute, and they might not even know why they're doing it. And, you know, our culture and society would be like, why are you doing that? Don't do that. That's bad. You could look at it negative, but really it's really just it's probably the artist subconsciously trying to create that necessity or that pressure where the magic and the sparks happen.
Do you ever feel like you find yourself, you said maybe even other artists do this, but do you sort of create situations for yourself where there might be extra pressure, where you might put your back up against the wall just to try to find a little extra creative spark for yourself? Is that something that you do deliberately sometimes?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a technique that me and some of my like friends and collaborators kind of really dug into a couple of years ago. Like sometimes little stuff like, okay, from the time you walk in the studio, you have 30 minutes to create a song from scratch.
Oh, wow.
And then after that, you can have a typical 3-hour session. But the rule is to start off the day, like the sessions of the day, you got to make something from start to finish in 30 minutes. And those boundaries, they force you to make creative decisions that you wouldn't make if you knew you had all the time in the world. And that whole thing teaches you to trust yourself as an artist more, to believe that God has actually fine-tuned you to be able to do things that people who are gifted in other ways cannot do. So when I look at like the artistry that he allows me to create or my friends to create, I'm like, yo, we're fine-tuned to do this. Like this is exactly what we're supposed to be doing. And this is incredible. And that is a way to magnify God, not worship ourselves. It's like the opposite. You know what I mean? I think to downplay that would be to downplay God's design.
Walked in like I'm Dexter, listening to Kesha. I don't mean to stress you, but you know that I'm the next up. Don't be gassing me, I'd rather speed off in the Tesla. Had to flee the scene, I left the beat off in the stretcher. Yeah, look, tell them boys catch up. Yeah, tell them boys catch up. Yeah, tell them boys catch up. Yeah, tell them boys catch up.
As a writer, as a lyricist, as a writer, what do you think kind of distinguishes you or sets you apart? What do you bring to the scene that maybe you're not seeing a whole lot of, or how did God fine tune you in particular for the platform you have and the music that you're making?
Yeah, so I think lyrically, the poetic background that I was talking about, like kind of growing up in those jazz and spoken word culture. I also did spoken word poetry before I started. Before I rapped. And then I also I led spoken word and creative writing workshops in the Nashville area with a nonprofit called Southern Word. And I think that poetic and creative writing background sets me apart in how I approach writing. I'm a music nerd. Yeah, like a music and pop culture nerd. But as far as hip hop, it's a whole nother level. Like one of my dreams is after I'm done being a rapper to be a professor on hip hop culture, music business, whatever at MTSU, because I approach it like academically. Like my friends probably get tired of me in the group message because the way that I'm like talking about different eras of hip hop, and like a lot of my friends are like, man, the flow is just dope. Like I just picked this flow because it's dope. And I'm like, yo, look what I just did in this verse. Like this is like reminiscent of what Q-Tip did in like 1994. And they're like, what? Like, why are you thinking about that? Like just rap, you know what I mean? But it's like, so I think that brings like I think that kind of sets me apart.
When you think about the future, the no big deal future, you mentioned that you would love to be a professor someday down the road. In terms of being an artist, what do you hope, end of the day, all said and done, 40, 50 years from now, you're sitting down, what do you hope the artistic impact that you've left behind is? What do you hope when people think about No Big Deal, they think that was the guy who...
Yeah, I want people to think that, I want people to have a fuller picture of God's creativity and his diversity in how he approaches creation. So lately I've been thinking of myself as a conduit for God's creativity, or thinking of myself as God's poem,
Oh, that's beautiful.
And I want to pass that on to people. I think that I personally, I came from a background of having pretty small, defined picture of God. And what helped me get out of that was music and art, and then also the universe. I mean, the other day I was thinking the God who created light and time also has created spots in the universe where light and time break down and don't function the same way that we experience them. Like, God is huge and extremely like creative and beautiful and unfathomable. Going through the Bible in a year with some friends. And so, you know, we're in the beginning of the Old Testament, and so much of how they worshiped God. And when I say worship, I mean just like how they would address him or try to explain him to people, or how they would ascribe worth and glory and credence to God was to talk about his creation and how he created. The way that they make sense of it in their head is like, this is the true God because he created all of this stuff that we see. And so, I don't know, in a way, I want to get back to that kind of thinking. Like, man, you know, the Grand Canyon, again, it's like God created that, and that's a speck in the universe. That's the God that I want to like walk with, you know.
I was listening to Illmatic on vinyl and I thought, where did rhymes go? People want the vibes, but I gotta give them life though. Rappers don't revise, cut the fat like some lipo. Shout to Post Malone, kill the beat like a psycho. Indie tribe mitochondria, I'm in a cell. Intel like Melania.
That was No Big Deal. You can read more of our conversation with him and other Christian hip hop artists that are blowing up right now in the new issue of Relevant. Check it out. It's at relevantmagazine.com. Just click on the magazine tab. All right, stay tuned. Up next, it's your feedback.
Have you ever lit a year on fire? I smell the lilacs now. I see the people pouring.
You're listening to Joywave. The song is Have You Ever Lit a Year on Fire? Have you ever lit a year on fire? Okay, it's time for your feedback. Last week, we didn't do your feedback. There was a lot, though, and we appreciated it. I guess we tweeted out a question of the week without me knowing. It was it referenced my birthday. It said, in honor of Cam's birthday, what was the weirdest or craziest gift you've ever received? Birthday gift you've ever received. You guys hit us up on Twitter at Relevant Podcast. Told us some of our favorites.
Well, Riken says, I don't know if it matters. I don't know if it makes the story any more or less awkward, but it appears to be a male in his profile picture. My grandma bought me bikini style underwear used from a garage sale.
So gross.
At least she got a good deal. At least she got a good deal.
Lying. He lying.
Try him on, Riken. Try him on.
My grandma back in the day, like, it was for Christmas, but she made all the grandkids. It was in the Cabbage Patch craze era, and she couldn't afford Cabbage Patch Kids because ministry family and, you know, a bunch of kids, grandkids. And she handmade everybody Cabbage Patch Kids of them. So I got a Cabbage Patch Kid of me.
That's kind of
had it for years and years. And Jesse has made many jokes about it being up in my attic, haunting my house.
Last time I was here, guys, I was so terrified because I heard rattling up in the attic and only thought it was little Cameron up there, you know, doing something sinister. So
comes alive at night.
Cameron got a whole floor to herself.
I actually put little Cameron in a rock in the backyard, guys. The rock's broken. I don't know where little Cameron is.
The rock broke. but hey, I'll take a grandma giving used bikini underwear over like little dolls of yourself any day.
But Cameron, you should say this. Little Cameron the doll was wearing bikini underwear that she bought at a garage sale. So I should. A deal's a deal.
That's why little Cameron is haunting everybody. You know, man, whoever put this on me? Rachel Christmas says, a vacuum bag, but I didn't own a vacuum.
Oh, that's a bad
So like, that's
why? Even
That's
if you
crazy.
own a
That's
vacuum.
crazy.
Well, first of all, why don't you have a vacuum? How do you clean your floors? I mean, that's number one.
That's a fact.
But number two, why would you give somebody a vacuum bag as a gift
It's a hint because
It's a
you went
hint
over
for
their
sure.
house.
You need
You went
a
over their
vacuum.
house. You went over their house and were like, it's very dirty. I'm not going to buy him a vacuum. Maybe they'll get the hint if I buy him the bags at least.
This is also kind of weird, like Riken. Chris Morphew said, my mom's friend once gave me a too tight, bright pink shirt with a giant blushing kissy face and the word flirt embroidered underneath.
no.
Felt like a weird choice for an awkward 12-year-old boy. Shoved it under my bed and never spoke of it again.
Wow.
Flirt?
Poor
Wow,
kid.
A pink 12 years old.
Yeah.
That would be, I mean, I was going to say that would be traumatizing, but he's a full grown adult still talking about that. That was traumatizing
sure.
for him.
It was traumatizing.
sure.
Yep.
Ross has
my
one,
God.
and this gives strong. Michael Scott couldn't afford to give away scholarships or laptops, so he gave away lithium batteries for the laptops vibes, like Ross says.
Yeah.
He says, my dad gave me a golf bag one year because he knew I wanted to start playing golf. He only gave me the bag, no clubs along with it, and he knew I didn't have clubs. Well, you know, clubs are expensive. At least you got the bag. At least you got that lithium battery, okay?
Bags are expensive too. Bags
Yeah,
are
but you
expensive.
can't do them both. Pick one.
Hey, in his dad's defense, clubs are very personal for the person. So Ross
that's
needs
true.
to go out and get his own clubs. But you know what? I'll support you and I'll give you a nice bag as a present.
Yeah.
I'm in camp dad on this one. Good for dad. You don't. It's like picking out a.
You can't even go to the
Clothes
driving
for
range.
somebody
You
that
give,
you
you give
barely
it a
know.
driver. You give him a driver. At least Ross can go practice. He's like, what are you going to do with the golf bag? Just walk around, practice walking with the bag. What do you
Practice
Ross? What do you want
walking
Ross
with
to be
the
a
bag.
caddy or a golfer?
Hey, why is Ross needing other people to buy all his equipment for the sport he wants to pick up? Ross,
'Cause
stand on
Ross
your own two
broke.
feet and buy your own
Golf's
club.
expensive.
All right, well,
Ross
then don't
broke.
take up golf. You know what's
True.
free? Running. Go run.
Running?
You can just run around. That's free. You know, you can't say I want to pick up golf and I can't afford to.
We
play
already
golf.
talked about running, bro.
Yeah, listen, Ross, there's plenty of habits. Have you ever heard of making strange Cabbage Patch dolls that resemble members of your family and putting bikinis underwear on them? That's a normal hobby. A lot of people do it, okay?
Oh.
All right. Well, that's your
Not
feedback.
weird.
There's more where that came from. Go check it out. Not weird. It's time for this week's.
Editorial question of the week. Hey.
So earlier we got talking about Dolly Parton, national hero, national treasure. Not Nick Cage. Nick Cage, Dolly Parton. They'd be on the Mount Rushmore, right? Anyway, we got talking about Dolly Parton. Got thinking about "I'll Always Love You," how it became an anthem once Whitney Houston. I mean, it was a huge hit in its time, and then it got a new audience and a new generation, new life with Whitney Houston. So we got thinking about remaking songs. What song do you love, or you know, was a classic in one genre that you would love to see remade in a different genre? Tell us the song. Tell us the artist you'd love to see redo it. All that. I think this will be fun. Maybe we'll even just, hit up some of their management teams and suggest it to them.
There we go.
Hit us up on Twitter at Relevant Podcast and tell us what song you want to see remade and by who and what genre. That'll be fun. Okay. And we'll read our favorites on next week's show. Well, before we wrap things up, I want to thank No Big Deal for joining us today. Make sure to check out our conversation with him and other emerging great rappers in the brand new issue of Relevant. You can find it at relevantmagazine.com right there in the magazine tab. We also have Juan Day, Judah and the Lion, Maisie Peters, other great music. We have Channing Tatum. We have Ryan Reynolds. We have Adam McKay, Shauna Niequist, Brooke Ligertwood. I mean, it is a stacked issue. Go check it out. Relevant Plus subscribers can get a beautifully formatted enhanced edition, perfect for tablet, desktop, and mobile, ad-free. And you can also check out the articles ad-supported at relevantmagazine.com. Go check it out. Also, make sure to check out relevantstore.com. We have great new gear. We have our annual print edition. We have podcast fan stuff. We're adding new products. And if you like what you see, Relevant Plus subscribers get 20% off. So, another reason to get Relevant Plus. Also, you mentioned you heard me mention Lumo at the beginning of the podcast. They also are the sponsor of our Deeper Walk Daily Devotional series. We publish a new devotional every weekday morning. You can check it out in the faith section at relevantmagazine.com, or you can sign up and get it sent to your email. It's a great way to start the day. We're appreciative of their support. Hey, if you like the show, rate it, review it, wherever you're listening, whether it's Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you hear us. It helps, the algorithm helps get word out and helps people discover the show. And we like the feedback if you're nice. Oh, and if you like the music that we're playing in all the breaks, you can follow along on our Spotify playlist. It's called Heard on the Relevant Podcast, and you can find it by searching at Spotify. On that note, we'll wrap it up. I'm Cameron Strang.
I'm Jesse Carey.
I'm Jamie Ivey.
I'm Derek Miner.
And we will see you on whenever you get the show because you're a subscriber or you're not. There you go. Go check out Relevant Plus and get it early. Ad-free and early. Come on now, people. Relevant Plus.
Thanks for listening to the Relevant Podcast. Check out our features, interviews, and news updates every day at relevantmagazine.com. And make sure to follow Relevant on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram for the latest. For more great podcasts, browse the shows on the Relevant Podcast Network, which you can find at our site. And while you're there, don't miss the all-new era of Relevant Magazine. A new issue releases every other month at relevantmagazine.com.
Yeah, I mean, one time a guy got shot over there. He lived, though. It was not a big thing.
Relevant Podcast Network. Shopify is a global commerce platform that helps you sell at every stage of your business and sell more with less effort thanks to the Shopify Magic, your AI-powered all-star. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/redcircle, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/redcircle now to grow your business, no matter what stage you're in. Shopify.com/redcircle.